like this video, and turn on post notifications for your crush to text you tomorrow. Hey guys, my name is Ari, and I'm about to tell you a story you probably won't believe, but is actually true. When I was 16 years old, I had this guy friend, Jimmy, that was really obsessed with reptiles. Since his dad owned a reptile shop, I got to hold so many different kinds of animals. We're talking alligators, snakes, turtles, everything you can think of. So because I grew up around all these animals, I have been tempted so many times to get one of my own. My parents always said no, though. They hate all reptiles and pets overall. They let me have a goldfish once, but that's about it. One day, when I was at the reptile zoo, Jimmy asked me to grab him a water bucket from the back room so we can fill up the water bowls for the snake enclosures. I went to the back to grab one. Because it was really dark and I didn't know where the light switch was, I kept fumbling around until I found it. Took me like a whole 10 minutes to actually find it. I went ahead and filled it with water and walked back to where Jimmy was working, cleaning out the cage. When I walked up to him, his eyes got really wide and stopped moving. He told me, "Ari, do not move a muscle." I started to panic, but I didn't really know what he was referring to, so I just stood there. He slowly walked over to the closet to grab this long metal hook that they used to pick up snakes. He slowly moved the hook along my head, and when he took it off, there was this huge black snake hanging off of it. I later found out that the black snake was a rattlesnake that they lost a week ago, but assumed it was dead. I guess while I was fumbling around the closet, it got onto my back and was sitting there until I walked up to Jimmy. He told me I was really lucky because one bite from a rattlesnake and I would have been dead within minutes. That didn't really keep me from still coming by the reptile shop. I still loved all the animals that they had there. That summer, I really wanted to get a pet. I was begging my parents and kept asking them to let me have just one small pet, a turtle, anything. But they kept telling me no, so I decided to put matters into my own hands. I was going to get a pet and hide it from them. This wasn't too hard because I could just keep it in my room, and my parents never used to come into my room. So that is exactly what I did. Jimmy knew my parents wouldn't let me have a pet, and knew he would get in trouble if he got me one, so I knew I couldn't ask him for help. The day before I went over to his dad's reptile shop, I made a little tank under my bed to keep the snake I was going to steal. I'm sure Jimmy or his dad wouldn't notice because they had tons of snakes, so I'm sure they wouldn't know it was missing. I set up this older glass tank under my bed, filled it with bedding, and covered it with this wood plant I found in the backyard. That day, when I went to the reptile zoo, while Jimmy was busy fixing some heating lamps, I went to the back where they kept all the baby snakes. There were hundreds with all different types of colors. I picked the one with black and yellow stripes. Little did I know, this snake was the most poisonous snake that exists. The braided crate. I opened its cage, picked the snake up, and put it in my backpack. It didn't hiss or anything, so I just assumed it was a really nice snake that wasn't harmful. After an hour or so, I told Jimmy I had to go home because I was so excited about the new pet I had. Right when I got home, I locked my door and took the snake out. It was pretty calm, so I put the snake in its cage and put the wooden piece on top so it wouldn't crawl out. It was time for dinner, so I just played with the snake later tonight. That night, we had chicken for dinner, which was my favorite. After dinner, I went back to my room to go play with my new snake, but I found the wooden plate moves, and the snake was gone. I got really nervous, but couldn't tell my parents because they would literally kill me. I decided to go back to bed and find him the next day. I woke up in the middle of the night to screams coming from my parents' bedroom. I ran in, and right as I opened the door, the snake slithered out. I ran to my parents, and they were both freaking out because they couldn't move their bodies. They both got bit by the snake I had and got paralyzed because of it. I called 911 right away, but by the time they got to our house, the venom already got to their hearts, and it was already too late. We later found out that while we were sleeping, the snake smelled the raw chicken on them from their cooking before, came into the room, thought they were animal, so it bit my dad. Because my dad was freaking out and my mom started moving, the snake then attacked my mom too. The snake that I took from the reptile store was the most venomous snake in the world, and with one bite, it can kill an elephant in 15 minutes. Very unfortunate, but I made a mistake that I will never be able to take back my entire life. Just wanted to tell my tale. Thanks for listening.